My manager said, "Sign this and we'll pretend none of this ever happened." The room was full of witnesses. I read the first page, then the last. Then I turned my phone around and asked, "Would you like to explain this timeline? Or should I?" The conference room had glass walls. Everyone on the third floor could see us. That was the point. Public spectacle. Maximum humiliation. They wanted me cornered, visible, broken. Dennis Hartwell sat across from me, hands folded on the table like a priest delivering last rites. He wore that smooth corporate smile, the one that said he'd done this 100 times before. To my left sat Jennifer Kowalski from HR, her laptop open, fingers hovering over keys like she was ready to document my surrender in real time. And to my right, pretending to be invisible, sat my son. Luke didn't look at me. He stared at his phone, scrolling through nothing, his jaw tight. 28 years old, my oldest. The kid I'd taught to ride a bike, to throw a baseball, to shake hands like a man. He sat there in his pressed shirt and his company badge, and he wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when I knew, not suspected, knew. The document in front of me was 12 pages. Settlement agreement, mutual release, standard corporate language wrapped around a knife. I was being fired, but they were calling it voluntary separation with dignity. The severance package was generous enough to look fair and insulting enough to make the point. Page 3 listed the incident: inappropriate workplace conduct, a violation of company policy, a pattern of behavior that created a hostile environment. None of it was true. Page 7 had the timeline, dates, times, witness statements. Someone had built this carefully, methodically, someone who knew where I'd be, what I'd said, who I'd talked to, someone who had access. I looked at the dates again, March 14th, April 2nd, April 26th. I pulled up my phone, calendar, photos, text messages. March 14th, I'd been in Minneapolis for a conference. Hadn't even been in the building. April 2nd was a Sunday. The office was closed. April 26th. I'd taken a personal day to help Luke move furniture into his new house. He'd called me that morning, said he needed help, said his back was acting up. I looked at my son. He was still scrolling. "These dates," I said quietly. Dennis leaned forward. "Mr. Patterson, I understand this is difficult, but the evidence is quite clear. Multiple witnesses have corroborated. These dates are wrong. I assure you, we've been very thorough in our investigation. March 14th, I was in Minneapolis. According to your calendar, yes, but several employees reported something that didn't happen. Because I wasn't here?" Jennifer cleared her throat. "Mr. Patterson, we've conducted extensive interviews. The accounts are consistent. Consistently wrong." "Or perhaps," Dennis said, his voice dropping into that reasonable tone that made me want to put my fist through the glass, "you're misremembering. These incidents occurred over several months. Memory can be—" "My memory is fine." I turned my phone toward him, showing my calendar, my flight confirmation, my hotel receipt. It wasn't here. He didn't even look. "We have witnesses who place you in the building." "Then your witnesses are lying." The room went quiet. Out in the hallway, someone walked past, glanced in, kept moving. The whole floor was watching. This was theater. I was the villain, and this was my confession scene. I looked at the last page again. Signature lines, mine, Dennis's, Jennifer's, and a fourth line. Witness. Luke's name was already typed underneath it. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not anger, not yet. Something colder. Something that felt like recognition. "You want me to sign this?" I said. "We believe it's in everyone's best interest," Dennis said. "Everyone's. This allows you to leave with your reputation intact. No formal termination on your record, full severance. Benefits through the end of the year. References will remain neutral. It's a generous offer, considering the circumstances. Considering circumstances that didn't happen. Mr. Patterson, who made the complaints? That's confidential. Who investigated? An independent third-party firm, per company policy. And who initiated the investigation?" Dennis glanced at Jennifer. She glanced at her laptop. Luke glanced at nothing. "That's also confidential," Dennis said. I sat back in my chair. Through the glass walls, I could see my desk. 22 years at this company. I'd started in sales, worked my way up to regional director, built teams, hit targets, won awards. The desk had photos, my wife, my kids, Luke's college graduation, my daughter's wedding. Luke had been so proud when he got hired here. 3 years ago, fresh out of grad school, sharp, ambitious. He'd asked me for advice on his interview. I'd coached him, introduced him to people, vouched for him. He reported to Dennis now. Different department, but same division. We'd grab lunch sometimes, talk about projects. I'd give him pointers. He'd tell me about his wife, about their plans, about the house they'd just bought. The house I'd helped him move into on April 26th. I need time to review this, I said. Of course, Dennis said, but his smile tightened. We'll need a response by end of business today. That's 3 hours. It's a straightforward document. 12 pages isn't straightforward. Mr. Patterson, we're trying to make this as painless as possible, for everyone, including you. If you choose not to sign, we'll have no choice but to proceed with formal termination proceedings. That would involve a full investigation, depositions, potential legal action. It would be public, messy, expensive, for everyone. There it was, the threat wrapped in concern. Sign or we destroy you. I looked at my son. He was still staring at his phone. Luke, I said. His jaw tightened, but he didn't look up. Luke, I said again. Mr. Patterson, Jennifer said, your son is here as a witness to ensure I'm talking to my son. Luke's thumb stopped moving. For a second, I thought he might actually look at me, but he didn't. He just sat there, frozen, staring at a screen that wasn't showing him anything. I stood up. Dennis's smile vanished. Mr. Patterson, please sit down. I'll have an answer for you by 5, I said. We really need... You'll have it by 5. I walked to the door. My hand was steady. My breathing was steady. Everything inside me was screaming, but nothing showed. Luke didn't move. I walked out into the hall. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. Someone by the break room whispered something. Someone else laughed. I walked to my desk, grabbed my jacket, grabbed my keys, didn't grab the photos, didn't grab the awards, just walked to the elevator, pressed the button, waited. The elevator arrived. I stepped in. The doors started to close. And then I heard it. Faint. From down the hall, behind glass walls. Laughter. The doors closed. I drove home in silence. Didn't turn on the radio, didn't call anyone, just drove through late afternoon traffic, watching the city slide past, watching people in other cars living their normal days, unaware that my life had just been disassembled like cheap furniture. My wife's car was in the driveway. She wasn't supposed to be home yet. She taught high school English. Usually didn't get back until after 4. I checked my watch. 2:30. I walked in through the garage. The house was quiet. No TV, no music. I found her in the kitchen, sitting at the island with her laptop open and a cup of tea going cold beside her. She looked up when I came in. You're home early, she said. So are you. Teacher planning day. They let us go after lunch. She studied my face. What happened? I set my keys on the counter, stood there, didn't know where to start. Michael, she said. What happened? I told her, all of it. The conference room, the document, the dates, the witnesses, Dennis's smooth threats, Luke sitting there like a stranger. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Show me the dates, she said finally. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through my calendar. She pulled up her own laptop, started typing. March 14th, she said. Minneapolis. I drove you to the airport that morning. We had breakfast at that place you like, the one with the Swedish pancakes. I know. April 2nd was Easter Sunday. We had dinner at your sister's house. Luke and Amanda were there. I know. April 26th. I helped them move. From 9 in the morning until almost 6 at night. I brought lunch. Amanda made lemonade. You threw your back out lifting their couch and spent the next 3 days on muscle relaxers. I nodded. She looked at me. Someone's lying. Multiple someones. And they're doing it on record. With Luke as a witness. She closed her laptop slowly. He knows these dates are wrong. He was with me for one of them. So why is he... She stopped. Her face changed. Oh, God. What? When did he ask you to help him move? I tried to remember. That morning. He called me around 7, said he'd thrown his back out, needed help. No, before that. When did he tell you he was moving? I don't know. A few days before, maybe? Try 2 weeks, he told us at dinner. March 10th. Remember? We went to that Italian place. He said they'd closed on the house, they were moving in April, needed to pick a date. I did remember, vaguely. Amanda had been excited, talking about paint colors and furniture layouts. So? I said. So why did he call you last minute on April 26th specifically? Why not schedule it in advance? Or why not ask you during dinner when he first told us? My phone buzzed. Text message. Luke. Dad, I'm sorry. I know this is hard. But you need to sign. It's better for everyone. Trust me. I stared at it. Another message. Please don't make this worse. Catherine was watching me. What is it? I showed her. She read it twice. Then she picked up her phone and started scrolling through something. What are you looking for? I asked. March 9th, the day before that dinner. What about it? Luke and Amanda came over, remember? She wanted to borrow my bread maker. They stayed for wine. We sat out on the deck. I remembered. It had been unusually warm for March. We'd talked about the house, about their plans, about nothing important. Luke went inside to use the bathroom, Catherine said. He was gone for maybe 10 minutes. I thought he'd gotten a phone call. So? So your office is right there. Door was open. Your computer was on. I felt that cold thing in my chest again, spreading. He wouldn't, I said. She looked at me. He's my son, I said. I know. He wouldn't do this. Then why did he ask you to help him move on a date that's now listed as one of your incidents? I didn't have an answer. She stood up, walked to the window. Outside, the neighborhood was quiet. Normal, spring afternoon, kids riding bikes, someone mowing a lawn. What are you going to do? She said. I don't know. Are you going to sign? I don't know. Michael, I don't know. She turned around. If you sign, you're admitting to something you didn't do. If you don't sign, they'll drag this out. Make it public, make it ugly. I know. Either way, you lose. I know. She walked over, stood in front of me, put her hands on my shoulders, looked at me hard. Unless, she said. Unless what? Unless they're sloppy. I waited. If Luke had access to your computer, if he had access to your calendar and your schedule, if he knew exactly where you'd be and when, why would he do this? I don't know, but someone did, and whoever did it made mistakes. Wrong dates, impossible timelines. They built a case that looks solid until you actually check the details. So maybe they made other mistakes. My phone buzzed again. Luke, Dad, please, just sign it. I looked at Catherine. What do you want me to do? I want you to tell them you need until Monday. Buy yourself the weekend. Let me dig into this. What are you going to find? I don't know yet. But I taught your son for 4 years before he graduated high school. I know how he thinks. I know how he writes, and I know when he's following someone else's script. You think someone's using him. I think someone's using both of you. I looked at my phone, at the messages, at my son begging me to surrender. Monday, I said. She nodded. I texted back, I need until Monday. The response came in seconds. That's not possible. I wrote, make it possible, or I'll file a formal complaint with the State Labor Board about falsified evidence. 3 minutes passed. Then, fine, Monday. 9 a.m. I set the phone down. Catherine kissed my forehead. Go take a shower. Clear your head. I'll make dinner. I'm not hungry. You will be. I went upstairs, stood in the shower, let the water run hot enough to hurt, stood there until the tank ran cold. When I came back down, Catherine was at the kitchen table with her laptop, a notebook, and 3 of my old work calendars spread out like evidence. Dinner's in the oven, she said without looking up. What are you doing? Building a timeline. Of what? Everything. Every date they listed. Every witness statement. Every moment they claim you were somewhere you weren't. I sat down across from her. This won't change anything. Maybe not, but it'll tell us who's lying and how much they're willing to risk. Catherine, she looked up. You taught me to grade papers by checking the work, not the answer. If the answer's right but the work is wrong, someone cheated. So let's check the work. I watched her for a moment. 26 years married. She didn't panic. She didn't break. She adapted. What do you need from me? I said. Your phone, your laptop, your emails, everything from the last 6 months. That's a lot of data. Then we'd better get started. We worked through dinner, through the evening, through the 10 o'clock news. She built spreadsheets, cross-referenced dates, made notes in margins. I pulled up files, forwarded emails, dug through archives. Around midnight, she sat back. What? I said. The first complaint was filed on March 27th. Okay. 2 weeks after Luke asked you to help him move. 1 week after the Minneapolis trip. 3 days before the Easter Sunday incident they claim happened. Your point? The investigation started before half the incidents supposedly occurred. I stared at her. She turned her laptop around, showed me the company portal, the case number, the timestamp. Someone filed a formal complaint about your behavior on March 27th. But according to this document, you didn't engage in any of the alleged behavior until April 2nd, 6 days later. That's impossible. Unless whoever filed the complaint already knew what dates to use. They just got the sequence wrong. Who filed it? She scrolled down. Anonymous. Of course. But it was submitted through the internal portal, which means it came from someone with a company email, someone who knew the system, someone who had access to your schedule. We looked at each other. My phone buzzed. Luke. Dad, I know you're angry. But please, this is important. Just sign. We can talk after. I didn't respond. Another message. Amanda's worried about you. We both are. Catherine read over my shoulder. When's the last time you talked to Amanda? I don't know. Last week, maybe? About what? Nothing important. She called to ask about paint colors for their living room. Did she ask about work? I thought back. Yeah. Asked how things were going, if I was staying busy. What did you tell her? Same thing I always say. Busy, projects, normal stuff. Did you mention Minneapolis? Probably. I was leaving the next day. Catherine made another note. What else did she ask? I don't remember. Just small talk. Michael, think. I closed my eyes. Tried to replay the conversation. Amanda's voice, cheerful, curious, asking about my schedule, about upcoming trips, about whether I'd be around to help with the move. I'd told her I had a conference in March and a client meeting in early April, but after that, I was mostly local. She asked about my schedule, I said slowly, for the next few months. And you told her. It was just conversation. Catherine didn't say anything. You think she's involved? I said. I think someone needed your schedule to build this case, and I think Luke's wife just happened to call and ask for it a week before the complaint was filed. That's circumstantial? Everything about this is circumstantial. That's the point. They're building a case out of smoke and paperwork, but smoke still comes from somewhere. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Amanda. Dad, please listen to Luke. He's trying to help you. We both are. This doesn't have to be a fight. I showed Catherine. She stared at it for a long time. Tomorrow's Saturday, she said. Luke and Amanda usually come over for brunch, right? Usually. Invite them. Catherine, invite them. I want to see their faces when you ask about March 27th. They'll just lie. Probably, but liars have tells, and I've been reading tells on teenagers for 20 years. I'll spot theirs. I texted Luke, your mom's making brunch tomorrow, 10 a.m. Be there. The response took 5 minutes.
We have plans. I wrote, cancel them. Another pause. Dad, 10 a.m. Both of you. No response. I set the phone down. Catherine closed her laptop. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be interesting? I didn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to Catherine breathe beside me, thinking about my son sitting in that conference room, refusing to meet my eyes, thinking about how long this had been planned, thinking about what comes next. Around 3 a.m, my phone lit up. Luke, fine. We'll be there. I didn't respond. Just lay there in the dark, waiting for morning. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. They arrived at 10:15, late enough to make a point. Luke's car pulled into the driveway, sat there for a moment, then the engine cut. Through the window, I watched them sit in silence. Luke said something. Amanda shook her head. He said something else. She got out. I was in the kitchen with Catherine. She'd made French toast, bacon, fresh fruit. The table was set, coffee brewing like nothing was wrong. They're here, I said. I know. She didn't look up from the stove. The doorbell rang. I started toward the hallway. Catherine caught my arm. Let them wait, she said quietly. Just for a second. We stood there. The doorbell rang again. She let go. Now you can get it. Luke stood on the porch with his hands in his pockets. Amanda beside him, purse clutched in front of her like a shield. They both looked tired. Amanda's makeup didn't quite cover the dark circles. Hey, Dad, Luke said. I stepped aside. Come in. They walked past me into the house. The smell of breakfast hit them, and I saw Amanda's shoulders relax slightly. Luke glanced toward the kitchen, toward his mother, then back at me. Mom texted this was important, he said. It is. What's going on? Brunch first, then we'll talk. We sat down at the table. Catherine brought out the food. Everyone served themselves in silence. The only sounds were forks on plates, coffee being poured, the subtle scrape of a butter knife. Luke ate mechanically.
Amanda kept glancing between Catherine and me, trying to read the room. "This is really good, Catherine," she said finally. "Thank you for inviting us. Of course, honey, your family." The word hung in the air. Luke set his fork down. "Dad, about yesterday." "Eat first," I said. "I just want to explain." "Eat first." He picked his fork back up. We finished breakfast in silence. Catherine cleared the plates, brought out more coffee, sat back down and folded her hands on the table. "Okay," she said. "Let's talk." Luke looked at me. "Dad, I know you're upset, but you have to understand, this wasn't personal. The company had complaints. They had to investigate. I was just asked to be there as..." "As what?" I said. "A witness?" "As someone who knows you, someone who could verify." "Verify what, exactly?" He hesitated. "That you were in the building on those dates." "Was I? Dad, was I in the building on March 14th? Silence. Because according to the document, I was. According to multiple witnesses, I was in the building, engaging in inappropriate conduct. But according to my calendar, my flight confirmation, and my hotel receipt, I was in Minneapolis. So which is it?" Amanda shifted in her seat. "Michael, maybe there's just some confusion with the dates." "There's no confusion. I wasn't there. I have proof I wasn't there. But someone filed a complaint saying I was, someone interviewed witnesses who said I was, someone built an entire case around events that didn't happen." "Mistakes happen," Luke said quietly. "This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate." "Dad, you're being paranoid." Luke stared at the phone. "April 2nd, I continued. Easter Sunday. According to the complaint, I sent inappropriate emails to multiple coworkers and accessed confidential files without authorization. The office was closed. I was at your aunt's house with 30 witnesses, including both of you." Amanda's face went pale. "April 26th, I said, looking directly at my son. "The day you asked me to help you move furniture. Remember? You called me that morning, said your back was out, needed help. I spent 9 hours carrying boxes and assembling furniture. Your mother brought lunch. You made me a sandwich around 2 p.m., turkey and Swiss. You offered me a beer, but I said no because I was taking muscle relaxers." Luke's jaw tightened. "That same day, according to the investigation, I had a physical altercation with a coworker, shoved him into a wall, made threatening statements, multiple witnesses, time stamped at 3:45 p.m. "Maybe you're misremembering," Amanda started. "I'm not." Catherine spoke up. "Amanda, honey, you were there. You saw him. You gave him lemonade around 4:30 because he was overheated from moving your couch. Are you saying you don't remember that?" Amanda looked down at her hands. "So here's what I'm trying to understand," I said. "Someone filed a complaint about things that didn't happen. Someone gathered witness statements about events that couldn't have occurred. Someone built a timeline that falls apart the moment you check any date against reality. And somehow, my son ended up sitting in a conference room yesterday, watching me get fired, and he didn't say a word." "They asked me to be there," Luke said. "And you didn't think to mention that half those dates were wrong?" "I didn't know. You were with me on one of them." "I didn't look at the dates that closely." "You signed as a witness." "I was told." "By who?" Luke went quiet. "By who, Luke?" He looked at Amanda. She looked away. Catherine leaned forward. "When did you first hear about the investigation?" Luke hesitated. "I don't know. A few weeks ago." "Before or after March 27th? His eyes narrowed. "Why does that matter?" "Because that's when the initial complaint was filed. 2 weeks after you asked us about Dad's schedule. 1 week after you had access to his computer." "I didn't. You were in our house. You used his bathroom. His office door was open. His computer was unlocked." "I didn't touch his computer." "Then who did?" No answer. "I watched my son. Watched him struggle with something. Watched him make a choice." "This is insane," he said finally. "You're accusing me of sabotaging your career because what? I'm jealous? I'm vindictive? I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm asking you to explain how witness statements were filed about incidents that never happened. I'm asking why you sat in that room yesterday and didn't say a word when you knew the dates were wrong. I'm asking who filed the initial complaint and why it was filed before half the incidents supposedly occurred." "I don't know." "You don't know, or you won't say." "Dad, please." "Because from where I'm sitting, this looks like a coordinated effort to destroy my career and reputation using falsified evidence and manufactured witnesses. And the only person who had the access, the motive, and the opportunity to orchestrate that is sitting right across from me." Luke stood up. I'm not listening to this. Sit down. No. You want to play detective, fine. But I'm not going to sit here and let you accuse me of... I'm not accusing you. I'm asking you. Same thing. It's not. One assumes guilt. The other asks for truth. So I'm asking, Luke. Did you have anything to do with this? He looked at me for a long moment. Something moved behind his eyes. Something I'd never seen before. You should sign the document, he said quietly. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting. He walked toward the door. Amanda scrambled to follow him. Luke, Catherine said, please. He stopped, didn't turn around. If you know something, she said, if someone's using you, if you're in over your head, we can help, but you have to tell us. There's nothing to tell? Sweetheart? Stop. Just stop. He turned around. His face was hard now. Adult. Stranger's face. Dad screwed up. The company investigated. They found evidence. It's not a conspiracy. It's not sabotage. It's just consequences. For things I didn't do, I said. That's your word against theirs. My word and my calendar and my receipts and 30 Easter dinner witnesses. Then take it to court. Fight it. But stop dragging me into your paranoia. You were already in it. You were in that room yesterday. You signed your name. Because they asked me to. And you didn't think to ask why? He stared at me. I need to go. Luke, I'll see you later, Mom. Dad, good luck Monday. I hope you make the right choice. He walked out. Amanda followed without a word. The front door closed. Catherine and I sat in silence. Outside, Luke's car started, backed out of the driveway, drove away. He's lying, I said. I know. He knows something. I know. What do I do? She stood up, started clearing the table. We keep digging. He's scared. Did you see his hands? What about them? Shaking. The whole time. Luke doesn't shake. Even when he was 12 and broke our window with a baseball, he didn't shake. He walked right up, told us what happened, offered to pay for it with his allowance. Calm. Honest. So whoever's running this has something on him, something bad enough that he's willing to betray you to protect it. I helped her carry dishes to the kitchen. What could be that bad? I don't know, but we're going to find out. She pulled out her laptop again, opened a new document. What are you doing? I asked. Making a list. Everyone who was in that room yesterday, everyone who's mentioned in the investigation, everyone who might have filed the complaint. We're going to map this out person by person until we find the center. Catherine, this could take... Then we'd better start now. Monday's 36 hours away. We spent the rest of Saturday building the map. Names, relationships, timelines. Dennis Hartwell, my manager. Jennifer Kowalski, HR director. The witnesses mentioned in the document. Though their names were redacted, we could guess from context. The third-party investigator. The anonymous complainant. By evening, we had a web of connections spread across the dining room table. Look at this, Catherine said, pointing to a cluster of names. Dennis was hired 8 months ago, transferred from the Dallas office. He replaced Tom Richardson, who'd been your manager for 6 years. Tom retired. Forced retirement. I remember you telling me. The company wanted younger leadership. Tom was 59, Dennis is 38. So Dennis has been restructuring the division. You told me last month he was pushing for early retirements, clearing out senior staff, bringing in his own people. I thought back. He's hired 4 new managers in the last 6 months. All under 40. All from his previous office. All loyal to him. You think this is about restructuring? I think you're expensive. 22 years means seniority, higher salary, better benefits, stock options, and you report directly to the VP. Dennis can't just fire you without cause. But if you voluntarily resign under pressure, he gets my position without the severance package. And he can fill it with someone from his Dallas team who makes half your salary. I sat back. That's just business. It's also a motive. But why use Luke? She didn't answer right away, just stared at the map. Unless, she said slowly, Luke came to him. What? Think about it. Luke's ambitious. He wants to move up, but he's only been there 3 years. Too junior for any real promotion, unless he proves himself valuable to someone with power. By sabotaging his own father? By showing he's willing to do what's necessary? By demonstrating loyalty to the new regime over family ties? Dennis gets you out. Luke gets noticed. Everyone wins. Except me. Except you. I stood up, walked to the window. The street was quiet. Saturday evening, families having dinner, kids playing, normal lives. If you're right, I said. If Luke did this willingly, then I've already lost. No. If I'm right, then Luke made a choice, and choices can be unmade. How? She came over to stand beside me. We give him a way out. We show him that whatever Dennis promised him isn't worth what it's going to cost. He won't listen. Maybe not, but his wife might. I looked at her. Amanda? She called you Dad. She asked about your schedule. She was nervous this morning. Not defensive like Luke. Nervous. Like she knew this was wrong. So? So maybe she's the weak link. Maybe if we can get her alone, get her talking, she'll tell us what Luke won't. And how do we do that? Catherine pulled out her phone, scrolled through contacts, hit dial. What are you doing? I asked. She put it on speaker. 3 rings, then, hello? Amanda's voice, cautious. Hi, honey, Catherine said warmly. It's Catherine. I'm sorry about this morning. I know that was tense. Silence. I was wondering if you might want to grab coffee tomorrow, just the 2 of us. I feel like we haven't had a chance to really talk in a while. More silence. Amanda, I'm not trying to put you in the middle. I just miss you. Miss our talks? Remember when you first started dating Luke? We'd spend hours at that coffee place on Maple. You'd tell me about your classes, your plans. I miss that. A long pause. Then quietly. I miss that too. So tomorrow, say 11? Same place? Catherine, I don't know if... Please, just coffee. No ambush. No interrogation. Just 2 people who care about the same man, trying to figure out how to help him. Another pause. Okay, Amanda said finally. 11. Thank you, sweetie. See you then. She hung up. I stared at her. You think she'll actually come? She'll come. The question is whether she'll talk. And if she doesn't, then we move to plan B. Which is? She looked at me. Monday morning, you walk into that office and you don't just refuse to sign. You file a formal complaint against Dennis for conspiracy to commit fraud, falsification of evidence, and wrongful termination. You name Luke as a material witness and request a full investigation by the State Labor Board. That'll destroy Luke's career. Maybe, or maybe it'll save him from whatever Dennis has planned next. I sat down, put my head in my hands. Catherine's phone buzzed. Text message. She read it, showed me. Amanda, please don't tell Luke about tomorrow. Catherine wrote back. I won't. Thank you for trusting me. No response. We went to bed early. I didn't sleep. Again. Just lay there thinking about my son. About the day he was born. The day he took his first steps. The day he left for college. The day he came back. The day he looked at me in a conference room and chose his career over the truth. Around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello? Heavy breathing. Background noise. A bar, maybe. Music. Voices. Michael Patterson? A man's voice, slurred. Who is this? You don't know me, but I know you. I know what they're doing to you. I sat up. Who is this? Doesn't matter. Just listen. The investigation, the witnesses, it's all bullshit. We were told what to say, told when to say it. They even gave us scripts. Who gave you scripts? Can't say. They'll fire me. But I wanted you to know. Some of us didn't want to do it. Some of us said no. But they threatened. Jobs, promotions, benefits. Said if we didn't cooperate, we'd be next. Next for what? For whatever they're doing to you. I need names. Can't. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to know it's not real. None of it. They're manufacturing everything. Then testify. Go on record. Help me. I have a family. I have a mortgage. I can't. If you can't help me, why are you calling? Silence. Then, because I have kids, and if someone did this to me, I'd want to know I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't imagining it. You're not crazy, Mr. Patterson. This is real. This is coordinated, and it goes higher than you think. How high? Good night, Mr. Patterson. Good luck Monday. I sat there in the dark, holding my phone. Catherine stirred. Who was that? Someone from the company. Someone who knows what's happening. Did they give you anything useful? No, just confirmation that I'm not paranoid. We already knew that. Yeah, but now we know they're scared too. She rolled over, looked at me in the dim light. We're going to win this. How do you know? Because whoever's doing this made mistakes, and mistakes leave trails, and we're very good at following trails. I wanted to believe her, wanted to believe that truth mattered, that evidence mattered, that 22 years of loyalty and hard work counted for something. But I'd seen Luke's face, seen him choose, and I knew that sometimes the people you love are the ones who hurt you worst, because they know exactly where to aim. Monday morning, 7:15. I put on a suit, navy blue, white shirt, red tie, the same outfit I'd worn to every important meeting for 20 years. Power uniform, armor. Catherine made coffee, toast. Neither of us ate much. You ready? She asked. No? Good. If you were ready, I'd be worried. We drove separately. Catherine was coming as a witness. She had her own folder of evidence, her own timeline. If this went wrong, she'd be ready to back me up. I arrived at 7:45. The parking lot was mostly empty. Few early birds. No sign of Luke's car. I went up to the third floor. The conference room was dark. I checked the reservation system. 9 a.m., Dennis Hartwell, Jennifer Kowalski, Michael Patterson. No mention of Luke. I went to my desk, or what used to be my desk. Someone had cleaned it out. My photos were gone, my files were boxed, my nameplate was missing, they'd already decided. I took the boxes to my car, came back up, waited. At 8:15, Catherine texted, I'm in the lobby. I wrote back, no sign of Luke yet. At 8:20, Dennis arrived, saw me, his face went neutral. Michael, you're early. Wanted to be prepared. Good. We'll get started right at 9. He went into his office, closed the door. At 8:25, Jennifer arrived. She looked at me, looked away, went straight to the conference room, started setting up. At 8:30, no Luke. I texted him, where are you? No response. Called. Voicemail. Texted Amanda. Is he coming? She wrote back immediately. He left 20 minutes ago. Should be there by now. I looked out the window at the parking lot. No Luke. 8:35, 8:40. At 8:45, Dennis came out of his office. Let's get started, he said. We're still waiting for... We have everyone we need. Let's go. I followed him into the conference room. Glass walls, witnesses outside, same setup as Friday. Jennifer was already seated. She had her laptop open, the settlement document printed and ready. I sat down across from them. Where's Luke? I asked. Dennis smiled. Luke called in sick this morning. Flu, apparently. Nothing serious. He's supposed to be here. He's not material to these proceedings. This is between you and the company. He's a witness. He's already given his statement. That's sufficient. I pulled out my phone, texted Luke. If you don't show up, I'm filing everything. No response. Dennis folded his hands on the table. Michael, let's not drag this out. You've had the weekend to review the settlement. I trust you've had time to consult with counsel if needed. Do you have any questions before we proceed? Yes, I have a question about the timeline. His smile didn't change. Of course. March 14th. You claim I was in the building engaging in inappropriate conduct, but I was in Minneapolis. I have flight records, hotel receipts, and approximately 40 witnesses who can confirm I was at a conference 800 miles away. Can you explain how your investigation missed that? Jennifer spoke up. Mr. Patterson, eyewitness testimony can sometimes be... This isn't eyewitness testimony. This is airline records. This is verifiable. Documented evidence that I was not in the state of Illinois on March 14th. Dennis's smile tightened. Perhaps there was confusion about the specific date. April 2nd, Easter Sunday, office closed. I was at a family dinner with 30 witnesses. April 26th, I was helping my son move furniture. My wife, my daughter-in-law, and my son himself can all confirm this. So either your entire investigation was conducted without checking basic facts, or someone deliberately falsified the timeline. Silence. Which is it? I asked. Dennis glanced at Jennifer. She glanced at her laptop. Mr. Patterson, Dennis said carefully, I understand you're upset, but making accusations of fraud? I'm not making accusations. I'm asking for explanations. You're asking me to sign a document admitting to things that didn't happen. I'm asking you to explain how a professional investigation could be so thoroughly wrong about verifiable facts. We stand by our investigation. Even though it's demonstrably false, we believe the preponderance of evidence. I pulled out my folder, opened it, slid the first page across the table. This is my flight confirmation, Minneapolis, March 14th through March 16th. Slid another page. This is my hotel receipt. Another. This is a photo from the conference, time-stamped. my face clearly visible. March 14th, 2:30 p.m. Another. This is the sign-in sheet from the conference registration desk, my signature. March 14th, 8:15 a.m. I kept sliding pages across the table. Dennis and Jennifer stared at them. I have similar documentation for every date listed in your investigation, I said. I have GPS records from my company vehicle. I have badge swipes showing when I actually was in the building. I have email timestamps. I have witnesses. I have everything I need to prove that your investigation is based on fabricated evidence. Dennis's jaw tightened. So here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to withdraw this settlement offer. You're going to launch a new investigation, a real one, into who falsified this evidence and why, and you're going to reinstate me with full back pay and a formal apology. That's not, Jennifer started. Or, I continued, I'm going to file a complaint with the State Labor Board, the EEOC, and every regulatory agency that has jurisdiction over corporate fraud. I'm going to provide them with all of this documentation, and I'm going to sue this company for wrongful termination, defamation, and conspiracy to commit fraud. The settlement I'll demand will make this severance package look like pocket change. Dennis sat back. You're bluffing. Am I? I pulled out my phone, opened my email, showed him the draft message to the State Labor Board, complete with attachments. One click. That's all it takes. You have no proof of conspiracy. Don't I? I slid another page across. This is an email from you to Jennifer Kowalski, dated April 5th, subject line LP contingency. You want to tell me what that means? His face went white. Or should I tell you? I said. LP is my son, Luke Patterson. The contingency was that after you fired me, you were going to fire him too. Same template, same fabricated evidence, because he knew too much, because he could testify, because he was a liability. Jennifer looked at Dennis. What is he talking about? I don't... The email details your plan to initiate a performance review on Luke on May 1st, to document cause for termination, to eliminate anyone who could prove what you did to me. That's taken out of context? Is it? Because I have 53 other emails between you and my son. Emails where you asked him to spy on me, to install monitoring software on my computer, to use my security badge to create false evidence, and to lie in witness statements. Dennis stood up. This meeting is over. Sit down. I'm calling security. Sit down, or I send this email right now. He froze. You orchestrated this entire thing, I said. You needed senior staff gone. You needed to cut costs. You needed to bring in your own people. So you found someone vulnerable, someone ambitious, someone who wanted to prove himself. You manipulated my son into betraying me, and then you planned to destroy him too. You can't prove any of this. I can prove all of it. Luke's emails, badge access logs, conference room reservations, your messages to Jennifer. I have everything. The only question is whether this stays internal or goes public. Jennifer was staring at Dennis now. Dennis, what did you do? Nothing. He's lying. He's desperate and he's... I'm not lying, and here's how I know you know that. I pulled out one more document, slid it across. This is a recording transcript from Conference Room B, March 23rd, you and Jennifer discussing how to handle the investigation. You specifically mention using Luke to access my computer. You specifically mention creating false badge entries. You specifically mention coaching witnesses on what to say. Jennifer picked it up. Read it. Her face went gray. Conference Room B records all meetings, I said. Automatic, company policy for legal protection. Ironic, isn't it? That was a bluff. Conference Room B didn't record meetings. But they didn't know that, and their reaction told me everything I needed to know. Dennis sat down slowly. Here's what happens next, I said. You resign, today, effective immediately. You cite personal reasons. The company accepts it without question. In exchange, I don't file criminal charges, I don't go to the press, I don't destroy you. You can't. I can. And I will, unless you're gone by end of business today. Jennifer looked at me. And what about the company? What about... The company launches an internal review, quietly, finds that mistakes were made, offers me reinstatement and compensation. We settle. Everyone moves on. And Luke, she asked. Luke cooperates with the review, provides testimony, keeps his job, with the understanding that if he ever pulls something like this again, there won't be a second chance. This is blackmail, Dennis said. No, this is consequences. You tried to ruin my life. You tried to ruin my son's life. You manufactured evidence, you lied, you cheated, and now you get to choose. Resign quietly or go down publicly. What's it going to be? He stared at me. I could see him calculating, weighing options, looking for a way out. There wasn't one. I need to make a phone call, he said finally. No calls, yes or no, right now. His hands were shaking. If I resign, you'll bury this? If you resign and disappear, yes. What about recommendations? References? Neutral. Company will confirm dates of employment only. Nothing more. He looked at Jennifer. She looked away. Fine, he said. I'll resign. Draft the letter. Now. He pulled out his laptop, started typing. His hands were shaking so badly he had to retype several sentences. 5 minutes later, he slid it across the table. I read it. Standard resignation letter. Personal reasons, effective immediately, appreciation for opportunity. Sign it, I said. He signed it. Jennifer took it. I'll need to get this to HR, get it processed. You do that. And while you're there, you can explain to them why this investigation needs to be quietly closed and a new one open, internal use only, no publicity. She nodded, gathered her things, walked out. Dennis and I sat alone in the glass room. You think you won, he said quietly. But you didn't. You just made yourself a target. There are other people like me, other managers who need to cut costs. They'll come after you eventually. Maybe, but you won't be there to see it. He stood up, walked to the door, stopped. Your son's weak, he said. That's why this worked. He wanted success more than he wanted integrity. That's not my fault. That's his nature. Get out. He left. I sat there for a moment, looked around the conference room, the glass walls, the witnesses outside who'd watched the whole thing. I pulled out my phone, texted Luke. It's done. Dennis is gone. You're safe. For now. No response. Catherine walked into the conference room. I saw Dennis leave, she said. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. He saw his future. Did he resign? I showed her the letter. She read it, smiled. What about you? Jennifer's working on it. Reinstatement, back pay, apology. And Luke? I didn't answer. My phone buzzed. Luke, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was in the parking lot. I couldn't make myself come in. I'm a coward. I stared at it. Catherine read over my shoulder. What are you going to tell him? I don't know. Michael, I don't know, Catherine. He had one chance to do the right thing. He didn't take it. I had to do this alone. I had to face Dennis alone. And Luke was in the parking lot, too scared to even walk through the door. He's your son. I know. He made a mistake. He made a choice. Multiple choices. Every single time Dennis asked him to betray me, Luke chose his career over his father. Every time he had a chance to stop this, he chose safety over truth. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern. He's young. He was manipulated. So was I, but I fought back. She put her hand on my arm. Don't write him off. Not yet. Give him a chance to learn from this. I looked at the phone, at my son's apology. I wrote back, come to the house tonight. We need to talk. His response, okay. I put the phone away. Jennifer came back in. HR wants to meet with you, she said. They're prepared to offer reinstatement, salary continuation for the time you were out, formal apology on record. In exchange, you sign an NDA, no press, no lawsuits, no discussion of what happened. I want full back pay plus 20%. Michael, you tried to fire me based on fabricated evidence. You exposed the company to massive legal liability. 20% is generous. She sighed. I'll run it by them. And I want Dennis's resignation made public. Not the reasons, just the fact. Effective today. Done. And I want a formal letter of recommendation, signed by the VP, not neutral, positive, glowing, in case I ever decide to leave. That's non-negotiable. She made notes. Anything else? Luke Patterson stays. No retaliation, no performance reviews, no targeting. He cooperates with the internal investigation, provides testimony, and then everyone forgets this happened. The company might want to terminate him anyway. He committed, the company wants this buried. If you fire Luke, you risk him talking. Better to keep him close, keep him quiet, keep him grateful. Everyone wins. She thought about it. I'll recommend it. You'll guarantee it. I can't guarantee. Then I walk and I file. And this whole thing becomes public. Your choice. She closed her laptop. I'll guarantee it. Good. Draw up the papers. I'll review them tomorrow. If everything's in order, I'll sign. She stood up. Michael, for what it's worth, I didn't know. About the falsified evidence. I thought the investigation was legitimate. Did you? Yes. Then you're either incompetent or a liar. I'm not sure which is worse. She walked out. I sat there alone, in the glass room. with everyone watching, and I felt nothing. Not triumph, not relief, just emptiness. I'd won. I'd saved my job, saved my son, destroyed my enemy. But I'd lost something too. Trust. In my son. In my company. In the idea that doing good work and being loyal mattered. Catherine came back in. "Let's go home," she said. "I should stay. Talk to HR. Make sure. Let them sweat. You've done enough for today." We walked out together, through the office, past the cubicles, past the break room where people whispered, down the elevator, through the lobby, out to the parking lot. My car was where I'd left it. Catherine's was beside it. "Follow me home," she said. "I need to stop somewhere first." "Where?" "Luke's house." "Michael, you said tonight." "I need to see him now, while I'm still angry, while I can still say what needs to be said." "What are you going to say?" "I don't know yet." She looked at me for a long moment. "Don't do anything you'll regret." "I already have." I drove to Luke's house. New construction, suburban development, identical homes lined up like teeth. His car was in the driveway. I walked up, knocked. Amanda answered. Her eyes were red. "He doesn't want to see you," she said. "I don't care." "Michael, please. Where is he?" She stepped aside. I walked in, found him in the living room, sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. "Get up," I said. He didn't move. "Look at me." He turned his head slowly. His eyes were empty. "I fixed it," I said. "Dennis is gone, so you're staying. The investigation is closed. You're safe." "I know. Amanda told me." "You were in the parking lot." "I couldn't." "You couldn't walk through the door. You couldn't stand up. You couldn't tell the truth, even when everything was on the line, even when I gave you the chance. You sat in your car and you let me fight alone. I'm sorry." "Stop saying that. Sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't undo what you did. You betrayed me, for months, deliberately, methodically. You installed spyware on my computer. You used my badge. You lied to investigators. You sat in that conference room and watched them try to destroy me, and you said nothing." "I was scared." "So was I. But I fought back. You just collapsed." He put his head in his hands. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to explain why. Why you did this. Why you chose Dennis over me. Why you thought a promotion was worth destroying your father. I didn't think... You didn't think it would go this far? You didn't think I'd find out? You didn't think there would be consequences? I didn't think at all. I just wanted... What? Success? Money? Respect? You had all of that. I was helping you, mentoring you, introducing you to people. You could have built a career the right way, but you chose shortcuts. You chose betrayal. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Dennis said it would just be paperwork, just documentation. He said you'd get a severance package and leave quietly and everyone would be fine. And you believed him? Yes. Even after you installed spyware? Even after you falsified badge records? Even after you lied to investigators? You still believed he just wanted paperwork? Luke looked up at me. I wanted to believe it. I wanted to believe I wasn't doing something terrible. So I ignored the signs. I ignored my conscience. I ignored everything except what I wanted to be true. And now? Now I know I'm exactly what you think I am. Weak, selfish, a coward. I stared at my son, saw him broken, saw him defeated, and felt nothing. You're keeping your job, I said. Not because you deserve it, because I negotiated it. You're going to cooperate with the investigation. You're going to tell them everything. And then you're going to rebuild your career from scratch. No favors, no shortcuts, no help from me. Dad, I'm done. You want success? Earn it. You want respect? Earn it. You want my forgiveness? You'll have to earn that too. And it's going to take a lot longer than a few apologies. I walked to the door. Michael, Amanda said, please. He made a mistake. Don't shut him out. He shut me out first. He made that choice. Now he lives with it. I left. Drove home in silence. Catherine was waiting. How did it go? She asked. About as well as expected. Is he okay? He will be, eventually. And you? I thought about that. I don't know yet. She put her arms around me, held me. I stood there, rigid, unable to let go. It's over, she said. You won. Did I? Yes. Then why does it feel like I lost? She didn't have an answer. We stood there in the kitchen, late afternoon light coming through the windows. The house quiet. My phone buzzed. HR. Papers are ready. Come in tomorrow at 9 a.m. to review and sign. I showed Catherine. She smiled. See? It's done. You're going back. Everything's fixed. Except my relationship with my son. That'll heal. Give it time. I wanted to believe her. Wanted to believe that time fixed everything. But I'd seen Luke's face, seen the choice he'd made, and I knew some things, once broken, never quite fit back together the same way. Tuesday morning, I went back to the office. HR had prepared the paperwork, reinstatement letter, back pay calculation, formal apology from the VP, non-disclosure agreement. I read through everything twice, had Catherine review it. Called a lawyer friend to check the language. Everything was there, everything I'd demanded. I signed, Jennifer Kowalski witnessed, handed me copies, shook my hand like nothing had happened. Welcome back, Michael. We're glad to have you. I didn't respond. She walked me back to my desk. Someone had returned my photos, my files, my nameplate, like the last 5 days had never happened, except they had. The whole floor knew. I could feel it. The whispers, the glances. People who'd believed the accusations, people who'd testified against me, people who'd spread gossip. They all knew now that it was false, that I'd been set up, but they also knew I'd won, and that made me dangerous. I settled in, checked my email, 400 unread messages, most of them from the last week. IT had locked me out during the investigation. Now everything was back. I started sorting through them, deleting spam, responding to urgent matters, pretending everything was normal. At 10 a.m., my phone rang. Luke, I hesitated, then answered. Dad? His voice was quiet, uncertain. What? I wanted to let you know I met with the investigation team this morning. Told them everything about Dennis, about what he asked me to do, about the spyware and the badge swipes and the false statements. Good. They said they'd keep me on, like you promised. I know. Silence. Dad, I know I don't deserve it. I know I don't deserve any of this. But thank you for protecting me, even after everything. I didn't do it for you. I did it for your mother. She loves you. She wanted you safe, so I made sure you were safe. I understand. Do you? Because I need you to understand something, Luke. What you did wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't just bad judgment. It was a fundamental betrayal of everything I thought I'd taught you. About integrity, about loyalty, about standing up for what's right even when it's hard. I know. I'm not finished. You're keeping your job. But our relationship? That's going to take time. A lot of time, maybe years, maybe never. I don't know yet. Right now, when I look at you, all I see is that conference room. All I see is you sitting there, silent, while they try to destroy me. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Just be better. Prove that you learned something from this. Prove that you're capable of being the man I thought you were. I will, I promise. We'll see. I hung up, sat there staring at my desk, at the photos of my family, Luke's graduation picture, him in his cap and gown, smiling, proud. That felt like a different person now, someone I didn't know anymore. My phone buzzed, text from Catherine. How's your first day back? I wrote, strange, like I never left, except everything's different. Give it time. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true. I didn't respond. The day passed slowly. People avoided me. Not obviously, just gave me space. No one stopped by to chat. No one invited me to lunch. No one asked how I was doing. I was toxic now, the man who'd fought back, the man who'd won. No one wanted to risk being my next target. At 3 p.m., I got an email from the VP. Subject line, private meeting request. I went upstairs, corner office, view of the city. Robert Chen, mid-50s, 20 years with the company. Smooth, political, dangerous in the quiet way that real power always is. Michael, he said, standing to shake my hand. Thank you for coming up. Please, sit. I sat. He walked to the window, looked out at the skyline. I want to apologize, he said, for everything that happened, for the investigation, for not catching it sooner, for allowing someone like Dennis to operate unchecked. He was your hire. He was, and that's on me. I trusted his record. His recommendations. I didn't dig deep enough. He almost destroyed me. I know, and I'm sorry. Truly. He turned around, looked at me. I want to make this right. You already have. The settlement? I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about position. You should have been promoted years ago. Senior director, maybe VP. but you got overlooked. Politics, timing, bad luck. I want to fix that. I waited. I'm creating a new role. Senior Vice President of Strategic Operations. Reports directly to me. Oversees all regional directors. Basically Dennis's job, but elevated. And I want you to have it. I stared at him. Why? Because you've proven yourself. You fought back when most people would have folded. You protected the company's reputation even while defending yourself. You handled this with more grace and intelligence than I would have. I blackmailed Dennis into resigning. You gave him a choice? That's more than he gave you. And if I take this promotion, what do I owe you? He smiled. You're smart. I like that. What you owe me is loyalty, discretion, results. Same things I expect from everyone. But also, you owe me honesty. If you see something wrong, you tell me. You don't let it fester. You don't let another Dennis happen. You want me to be your watchdog. I want you to be my partner, someone I can trust, someone who's proven they can't be bought or scared or manipulated. I thought about it. How much? 20% raise, stock options, company car, full benefits, and a clear path to VP if you want it. When would this start? Next Monday. Give you the rest of this week to transition. I looked at him, at his smooth smile, at his careful positioning. He was buying my silence, making me complicit, turning me from victim into beneficiary. I'll think about it, I said. Don't think too long. This offer expires Friday. I stood up. I'll let you know. I went back to my desk, sat there, stared at nothing. My phone rang. Catherine. How was your day? She asked. Interesting. Robert Chen just offered me a promotion. That's wonderful. What kind of promotion? Senior VP. 20% raise. Dennis's job, basically. Michael, that's amazing. You should celebrate. Should I? What do you mean? I mean, it feels like a bribe, like he's buying my cooperation, making sure I don't cause problems. Or maybe he genuinely values you. Maybe he sees what you're capable of. Maybe. Are you going to take it? I don't know. What's holding you back? I thought about that. If I take it, I'm saying what happened was worth it. That the betrayal and the pain and the destruction of my relationship with my son were all acceptable costs for career advancement. That's not what you'd be saying. Isn't it? She was quiet for a moment. Come home. Let's talk about this over dinner. I left at 5, drove home through traffic, thought about choices, about what we trade for success, about whether any of it matters. Catherine had made pasta. We ate on the back deck, spring evening, warm enough to be outside, quiet neighborhood sounds. Tell me about the offer, she said. I laid it out. The title, the salary, the responsibilities. She listened. That's a significant opportunity. I know, but you're hesitating. Because it feels wrong. Taking a promotion because I survived a conspiracy feels like rewarding bad behavior. Whose behavior? Yours? The company's. They tried to fire me. They built a case based on lies, and now they're offering me more money to forget about it. They're offering you recognition for your skills and your loyalty. After trying to destroy both. Michael, you can't live in what almost happened. You have to live in what is. And what is right now is that you have a chance to move forward, to advance your career, to secure our future. Luke's going to need help eventually. College loans, house down payment, grandchildren someday. This promotion gives you the resources to provide that. While working for people who betrayed me, while working for yourself, for your family, for your future. I looked at her. When did you become so pragmatic? When I watched you fight for a week to save everything we've built. You won. Don't sabotage that by letting pride get in the way. It's not pride. It's... what? Principles, honor? Those are wonderful things, but they don't pay the mortgage. They don't fund retirement. And right now, you have a chance to secure both. I set my fork down. What if I can't forgive them? Then don't. But take the promotion anyway. Use it. Build something better. Make sure what happened to you never happens to anyone else. By becoming part of the system. By changing the system from inside. I thought about that. About Robert Chen's offer. About being his partner, his watchdog. About having the power to prevent another Dennis. I'll think about it, I said. We finished dinner, cleaned up, sat in the living room watching nothing on TV. Around 9, my phone buzzed. Luke, can I come over tomorrow night? I'd like to talk, face to face, if you're willing. I showed Catherine. What are you going to tell him? She asked. I don't know. He's trying. Give him credit for that. Trying isn't enough. It's a start. I thought about my son, about his apology, about whether people can actually change or if they just learn to hide their nature better. I wrote back, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Don't be late. His response, thank you. I set the phone down. What are you going to say to him? Catherine asked. The truth? That I don't trust him? That I don't know if I ever will again? That he has to earn back everything he threw away? That's harsh. It's honest. Sometimes honesty is harsh. And sometimes harsh is necessary. She didn't argue. That night, I lay in bed thinking about everything. About Dennis, about Luke, about Robert Chen's offer, about whether winning a battle means anything if you lose yourself in the process. Around midnight, Catherine rolled over. Are you awake? She asked. Yeah. What are you thinking about? Everything. Nothing. I don't know. She put her hand on my chest. You're a good man. You did the right thing. Don't let this change you. Maybe I need to change. No, the world needs to change. You just need to keep being who you are. And who's that? Someone who fights for what's right. Someone who protects the people he loves. Someone who doesn't compromise his values even when it costs him everything. I almost lost everything. But you didn't. You won. Did I? She kissed my forehead. Yes, you won. Now you just have to figure out what to do with that victory. I closed my eyes. Eventually, I slept. I dreamed about glass rooms and my son's face and choices that couldn't be unmade.